Hi everyone, I'm James, aka The Quiet Storm. Welcome to my story. Before I begin, I'd like to give out the following disclaimer. Everything I'm going to be talking about is now in the past. Yeah, it's going to sound like things were pretty bad for me, but everything is okay now. Nothing I say is directed toward anyone in particular, and I'm recording this with no hostile anger whatsoever. So if this is fully understood, thank you for joining me for this, and enjoy the story.
Hidden lightning, silent thunder, still wind, quiet storm.
Every story has a beginning. This video is dedicated to the first 15 years of my life, and it's probably the most easygoing chapter of the story. I was born on January 31st, 1998 in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. I weighed over 9 pounds. When I was a few months old, I was overeating and ended up looking like this. We lived at Camp Egan, east of Tahlequah, where my dad worked. The earliest memory I have of anything is when I was 2 years old, approximately in March of 2000, when we had just bought our trailer house. I can remember seeing my dad boost my mom up inside the house. I remember distinctly sitting in a corner eating a can of cheese-flavored Pringles. And I verified this with my mother. Growing up in poverty, I couldn't be like the other kids. I couldn't watch fancy TV shows or have name brand clothing. We had more than our fair share of financial troubles. My dad's best job of my childhood was probably when he was a truck driver for several months. I remember he'd get around $1,000 a week sometimes. We were able to get all new appliances and things that we needed. I don't remember exactly when, but my dad was diagnosed with congestive heart failure when I was little. That was part of the reason behind some of our financial troubles. Everything ironed out when he got his disability benefit coming in. We were never rich, but we were never starving. My school life was, let's say, rather uneventful. One of the worst highlights of my elementary school life was in 3rd grade, when everyone started thinking I was gay. It's mostly a story for another episode, but what you can take from it now is to not let your children have the majority of sex ed from South Park and Family Guy. It won't end well. I don't have many memories of school until 5th grade when, as some of you know, the girl I befriended and had a crush on suddenly died in a house fire. That same week, my puppy got run over. That was by far the worst week of my life. Up until then, at least. I cruised on through the remainder of elementary school and graduated from Briggs School in May 2012. At last, I was on my way to high school. I wish I'd known that it would be the closest thing to hell on earth, at least for me. Poor choices led me to make far more enemies than friends in freshman and sophomore year. The worst thing of all was that I was constantly trying to find a girlfriend. Constantly. And I failed at every attempt. Perhaps creepy stalkerish text messages aren't exactly the best way to find a life partner. If only I could have told that to 14-year-old me. I'd never really had many friends growing up, and high school only made me realize how few people I actually had in my corner. I'm leaving this story off in December 2013, perhaps the closest thing to life and mental stability that I would have for 2 years. This is the end of Chapter 1. Stay tuned for tomorrow when the depressing part of the story starts.